this video, we're going to be taking a look at director Orson Krennic, based upon his appearance from Rogue One in the Vintage Collection. So this guy's probably been a long time coming to TBC. I know he's been on a lot of people's wish lists and want lists, even mine included. I used to own the 5POA one that was released in 2016, I think. If you checked out my Instagram page before, you've probably seen some pictures in there where that particular figure is featured in it. Unfortunately, I ended up selling him a couple years after that, so I don't have it anymore. I kind of wish I didn't sell it because that's still a nice action figure, but at that time I was trying to get rid of a lot, anything Disney Star Wars associated. But sometimes I'm going to make some exceptions, and I think Krennic is one of them. He's a character that I think would fit along in the EU just fine. Of course, he looks pretty neat, I will say. I used to own the Black Series action figure of him as well, and unfortunately I sold that for similar reasons. And I had a custom cloth cape for that one as well. Perhaps I'll track down a Krennic again for Black Series, even though the action figure could use an update. It's fine enough for what it is, and it's still fairly affordable after all these years as well. Same with the Death Troopers even. But finally, we got him in TBC now recently. I actually got this at Walmart a couple weeks ago at this point. It's one I've been debating about. Should I go ahead and get it? Should I hold off for clearance? If you're a person that's not too particular about owning him, but you kind of want him, I would probably say wait for clearance. I imagine he will go on sale at some point. But I thought, I'm not really getting a whole lot of action figures lately, so I'll just go ahead and get him. And I don't regret getting it. It's another Imperial officer to add to the collection, and a little bit of uniqueness about him because he has the cape, and plus he's in a white uniform instead. I forget specifically what the white uniform signifies. That might be, of course, red is like the Imperial Security Bureau, and I forget what white is specifically. It's I know I knew it before, but it's not at the top of my mind right now. Perhaps it's like the Grand Admiral type rank. But then again, Tarkin doesn't wear white uniforms, so I don't know. Sometimes Star Wars is not very consistent with the ranks and the specific bureaus or branches that these characters are in. So, Krennic is very nice. Happy to have him in the collection. Not really a whole lot I can say about the action figure. You either want him or you don't. And if you've seen my reviews of Piet and Jujurroid before, you pretty much know what you're getting into this time because it's close to the same mold. It's not 100%, but a lot of reused parts are here. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the package. It's an image of him. I think this is from when they're on Scarif there. At the top of that sky hook, I think. Rogue One, director Krennic, or Orson Krennic. I'm really surprised they included his first name. And he's VC302. He has a description about him. It is nice that Hasbro is bringing back descriptions of the characters instead of just doing a generic celebrating the history of Star Wars or something like that. Not much else I can say about the package. So there we go. And now let's look a little closer at this guy. So the cape here is totally plastic, which can be kind of encumbersome. Obviously, if you want his arms out like this, he's going to have a hard time keeping that cape into place. And if you do have it stay in the place, it's going to look kind of awkward, something like that. So while you have it on, he pretty much has to keep his arms enclosed like this. Taking it off, it's not bad, but I think he's got a little bit of a longer neck than usual, and he just looks kind of odd without it. Might be because we're just so used to seeing Krennic with a cape that when he doesn't have one, it doesn't really look right. Which is possible. If you have other white Imperial officers, perhaps you can include this cape with them. I might try that at some point. So the head sculpt looks pretty good. I think the actor who plays him is Ben Mendelsohn, I think it is. Looks pretty spot on. I think he's an Australian guy. I did mention in a previous video that the first time I looked at this head sculpt, I thought, you know, it doesn't really look that great. But the longer I look at it, it's like, yeah, you know, I think it's fine. I think the texturing detail on it could have been a little smoother. That's not bad. The hair sculpt looks good. The sculpt itself looks fine. Perhaps they could just touch up on the paint a little bit. And the rest of his outfit's pretty much the same as all the other officers. Does have the rank badge there, which I think is accurate to Krennic. I have noticed that with a lot of the officers recently from Hasbro, is they seem to be doing good about updating that rank badge. He does have the cylinders noted on both sides there. He does have his holster, and I totally forgot that Krennic was left-handed actually. He has the cross draw there. And black pants and black boots, which I think is pretty much the same exact tooling as all the other officers in recent years. Back of his cape here does have a little bit of a design work in it. There's a cut down here. It looks pretty good. So his articulation's exactly what you expect from the officers. The ball joints in all the right places. Not much more I can say about that. Even the torso there, yeah. And of course the swivel cut at the thigh there. Not much more I can say about it. And then his one weapon is his blaster here, which I don't think they reused a hand from the other officers, so unfortunately he doesn't really fit this blaster too well in his left hand. It is a unique blaster pistol. There's a little bit of a scope on it. Some brown, mostly silver. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't seem to want to stay in the place too well. You can't get him to hold it like that. I think he holds it a little bit better in his right hand, actually. Yeah. So something kind of disappointing. I guess you could make Krennic right-handed. Well, it does fit in his holster pretty good. It stays in place. And that's probably where I'm most likely going to have it stay. And we'll do some comparisons here real quick. So here he is with probably his main rival, Tarkin, from the Revenge of the Sith line. I have him reviewed on the channel as well. It's a pretty nice action figure. I still think it holds up nicely after all these years, and it's very affordable. Even more affordable than Krennic right now. Still a very nice action figure. Then we'll go ahead and bring out Krennic's Death Troopers here. It's nice to have these guys all united in super articulated form. I have pretty much a mountain of these Death Troopers at this point from the Navarro Cantina, and I've bought several of them from Tungori over the years, and some brand new at the store every now and then. I think, yeah, this one here I think is the carbonized one actually, which looks pretty close to the original here. It just has a little bit of a off black to it, I guess. They're pretty close to where you can't really tell the difference. But yeah, I think I'm up to like 13 or 14 Death Troopers at this point. Pretty neat trooper. I will get around to reviewing them at some point, and I should probably bring them all out and do like a collection video of them. I did own some of the Black Series ones as well, but I do not have those currently. Ended up selling them along with Krennic. Perhaps I'll track down some again at some point. It was repacked in the archive wave for the Black Series, and even to this day it's still only like $17 or $18 for that, so they probably didn't sell too well. They all look really good together. So would I recommend Director Krennic for your collection? You either want them or you don't, and like I said, if you already have some of the Imperial officers, you already know what you're getting yourself into, so if you want him, I would say yes, go for him. He's the best representation of Krennic we've gotten to date for 3 3/4 inch, that is. And it's probably the only time we're going to get representation for him in TVC. So if you really want him for your collection, this is probably the time to do it. We might not ever see him released ever again. And there's really not a need to update him in any way. He's the definitive figure of him. I'm happy to have him. Like I said, if you're patient about it, I would say maybe hold off for a sale for him. Especially when the holidays come around this year. I'm sure he'll go on sale at some point. Maybe he'll be like $11 or $12 instead of $16, $17. But I'm sure he'll be in abundance of stock for quite a while now. At the time of this video, at least. Yeah, solid action figure. Glad to have him. It's always nice to have some more officers. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some of the links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.